Good morning. Can you hear me? I'm really not used to using microphones.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be in front of such a dynamic delegation. And it looks like you're going to outgrow the forest. So I don't know where you're going to go next. But I said to Sam, as he so graciously asked me to do this, I said, I need a point of personal privilege. And I'm going to take it. So I have allotted 15 seconds for each of the 50 years. I thought about allotting 50 seconds for each of the 50 years in the speech, but I decided you might run me off the mountain. So I guess you're really wondering who I am and why I'm here, and how I'm connected to the Conference on National Affairs. Well, let me tell you. I grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, at the Floyd YMCA. Hey, Alabama! The YMCA has been a force in my life for as long as I can remember. My first memories are swim team, and then Tri-High Club days, and then as a 9th grader, I attended my first youth legislature as a delegate. As a newbie, I authored a bill on youth offenders and received the Birmingham News Best Bill Award. My senior year in high school, I was elected House Floor Leader. That position strengthened my ability to negotiate, to compromise, and to use my leadership position to give support and voice to other delegates. All along the way, and really not necessarily obvious to me at the time, as Sam mentioned, were my wonderful mentors, Louise Sizemore, Don Bryant, and Bill Chandler. We took ourselves seriously as delegates, but we really had a great time after the sessions. We partied hard and we knew the rules. We knew all the rules, the chamber rules and the street rules. And we understood that there would be consequences if we walked on the wrong side of the street or tried to jaywalk after hours, so to speak. Forward to today, I serve on the board of the Carl Sanders YMCA in Atlanta. So that's a bit about who I am. Now, what am I doing here after 50 years? You are here today because 50 years ago, I had the power of an idea. My idea was to have a national affairs conference and convene all those states that had a youth in government program. I thought we should all talk to each other and not just to our states. The first conference on national affairs was held at Stone Mountain, Georgia in 1968. We were 8 states, 50 to 80 delegates, I'm not quite sure, and 21 adult leaders strong. Today, this conference has 648 delegates, and that's incredible. With representation from most of the 50 states and the District of Columbia, and I just heard the Marshall Islands, so this is unbelievable. Over 15,000 youth have had the privilege of attending a conference on national affairs. This is the incredible result of the power of an idea. Now, look around the room or around the spaces, look to the far corners, look at each other, look at yourselves. This is an awe-inspiring scene, especially for me. I never dreamed I would be here looking at all of you. From where I stand, I see all of you. It's a privilege for me to see 648 potential leaders in one place. Who knew that 50 years ago, I would be here celebrating 50 years with you? Congratulations. You are the 50th Kona delegation. Give yourselves and each other a big virtual hug. I love it. Keep the hugs going.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Call to order. Now, a leader has to do more than dream. A leader has to talk out loud and give voice to the power of an idea. The idea has to be worked and promoted. The idea then needs the support and endorsement of its community. I want to give you a preview of some national and international situations, ideas that are 50 years old in 2017. Let me set the scene. 50 years ago, Lyndon Johnson was president. The average home cost $14,000. The average salary was $7,000. Minimum wage was $1.40. Gas was 33 cents. And movie tickets cost $1.25. And I have no idea what the price of popcorn was. The Vietnam War was raging, and there were mass anti-war demonstrations across the U.S. John McCain was shot down over North Korea and taken as a POW. Martin Luther King denounced the Vietnam War and promoted nonviolence to achieve peace. The 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified and enacted. It concerns presidential succession in the event of disability. Muhammad Ali is jailed for refusing to do military service and is stripped of his international boxing title. The Six-Day War is raging in Israel. Boeing's 737 passenger plane took flight. Thurgood Marshall is sworn in as the first African-American justice on the Supreme Court. Okay, get this one. Big Macs were introduced to the fast food world. The first human heart transplant was performed in South Africa by Dr. Christian Bernard. Muriel Siebert was the first woman to own a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. The first Super Bowl was played. Aretha Franklin records R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was released by the Beatles. And the first Rolling Stones magazine hit newsstands. And this is not all, but there's no time for more. 1967 was the best of times and the hardest of times. The Vietnam War and body bag pictures and body counts took over the nightly newscasts. Is today so different? Some of the names have changed, but we still have countries at war. 1967 was a time of great music, and that beat goes on. There were leaders with courage, and there were despotic leaders. There were activists that were imprisoned, but managed to lead inside and again outside their prison cells. Today, there are different faces on the world scene. We still have leaders that are tyrants, and yes, thank goodness, we still have leaders that command respect and hope. You, the delegates at the 50th Conference on National Affairs, are leaders that represent our hope. Against that background, I thought it would be fun to compare youth issues of 1967 to youth issues of 2017. The Stone Mountain Conference had two keynote speakers. One was on capitalism, and the other was what is right about America. The 1967 resolution and position papers were relatively easy to review because there were only 25 papers compared to, I think I counted 466 papers. These are the resolutions and papers that passed. Riot legislation, crime and urban violence, ending the Vietnam War, regulating LSD and other drugs, regulating the Panama Canal, changing the Electoral College, regulating firearms, prayer in the schools, subversive activity, poverty, settling debts with debtor nations, establishing a national organ bank, and Sam just spoke to the beauty of what that can do. And last but not least, the YMCA Conference on National Affairs was founded. These position papers were defeated. Abolishment of capital punishment, regulating pornography, legalized wiretapping, guaranteed income through welfare and jobs, changing the terms of the House of Representatives. So I looked at your 2017 position paper topics, and I was going to try to profile them, but like I said, there's 644 of them. So I just had the pleasure of observing some of your sessions last night, and you are all to be commended and complimented on these 2017 papers. I am impressed by your research and by the enthusiasm of your presentations. There were many issues in common with the first conference, but the depth and breadth of your topics is far more extensive and complex. Time doesn't permit me to profile all the issues. A couple of issues that I noticed that were common to our 50-year span are penal reform, electoral college reform, illegal drug use and regulation, gun control and education. Our international issue was Vietnam. Your focus is global. Gender issues, cybersecurity, energy, climate change were barely, if at all, on anybody's agenda 50 years ago. Your 2017 topics are today's reality. Now I want to zero in on you. Right now, you are holding life's proxy in your hands, and that represents power. Power that is positive by definition, because power is the ability to act or produce an effect for the good. So let's begin with the power of one, and that is the leadership power of you. Leadership isn't a matter of chance, but a matter of choice. So the power of choice gives you the power to choose. To choose, by Webster's definition, is the opportunity or power to select from alternatives and the power to make a decision. The power of choice gives you, the power of one, the privilege of choosing freely from a range of possibilities. I'll give you a personal example. Personally, I have chosen to lead my life with no regrets. Once I make a choice, I never look back. I never ask or say, what if only if, could we have done it better, could we have done it differently? I find looking forward is personally empowering for me and enables me to move forward in a positive direction. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the power of failure. Failure can be just as important as success. Failure highlights modes for improvement and ways to adjust, promote, and power your next steps. Failure is not defeat. It often leads to a more powerful path and a stronger outcome. We discussed the power of one and the power to choose. Let's talk about the power of style. Every leader's style is personal. Your style can be quiet, anonymous, it can be loud and verbal, it might be motivational, positive, or empowering. You could be the believer among the naysayers, or you might be the calm against the storm. And then again, you might have a more cerebral approach. Leadership is complicated. Knowing and understanding your style of leadership will be a powerful asset for you. Because of time, I'm going to couple the power of change and the power of innovation. The one thing we know about change is that change is constantly changing. Nothing stays exactly as it was. Everything and everybody changes and evolves through time. And so our Constitution is an example with the enactment of the 25th Amendment. The power of innovation in 2017 can be understood as a mode of operation and a way to create new approaches to impact. The power of innovation is the creativity that propels change. What are the powers of possibility for leaders? In her book, Lean In, Sheryl Sandberg says, and I quote, ladders are limiting. People can either move up or down or off a ladder. Jungle gyms offer more creative exploration. There is only one way to get to the top of a ladder, but there are many ways to get to the top of a jungle gym. As Sheryl points out, who wants to keep staring at the rear end of the person above you on the ladder? Jungle gyms allow for better views for everyone from many positions. Flexibility is an important behavior when you are climbing. Your aspirations can turn into real possibilities if you believe and give your best efforts to the power of an idea. And then there is the power to stand up and the power to sit down. We also have the power to speak out and the power to give. Advocacy is speaking and leading by example. The power to give is really about your passion. It's giving of your time, your talent, and your resources. Your giving should reflect your values and what touches your heart. The mantle of leadership comes with the responsibility of knowing where to stand, when to sit, when and how to give. Don't be shy, be strategic, always. Now, let's talk about the power of all, A-L-L. Harness them all your supporters, all your non-supporters, and all your fence-sitters. To build community, you must unify the common and uncommon elements in people. Community building requires a group effort powered by all. Remember, institutions are temporal. Ethical and moral values transcend brick and mortar always. The last power is the power of respect and honesty, trust, loyalty, and integrity. All of these powers are tied up in your good name. Your good name is what gives you identity. It is yours alone to cherish and protect. It is your most valuable asset. If you tarnish your good name, it can be repolished and repaired, but only with a lot of energy and effort from you. The best leaders follow their hearts as well as their heads. They carry their principles like a sacred trust that never gets left behind. Power is ubiquitous and an exhaustive word. I've only focused on power as I believe it is important to leaders in leadership. Ann Harper says it best in a speech to Spelman College students. She has succinctly defined a way to lead that includes choice and power. Quote, "We can choose to lead based on power sharing rather than power grabbing. We can choose to lead based on building power with others instead of power over others. We can choose to empower ourselves and others who have not had opportunities to fulfill their dreams rather than gain power for ourselves alone." Well, I know I've just given you a speech, but I still can't believe it. I have to tell you, I am speechless. I am really speechless because when I think that this is the 50th anniversary of the Conference of National Affairs, and it all began 50 years ago with the power of an idea, it's just incredible to be here, to be with you, and to celebrate with you today. And just as exciting, I understand there are second and third generation family attendees present and active at this conference. Please stand if you're a legacy. I know you're here. With the momentum and energy I feel in this room, I know leadership is alive and well, and that all of you will be back to celebrate the 100th anniversary. It is such a joy and a privilege to share this 50th anniversary with all of you and witness what 50 years looks like in 2017. You, dear delegates, are our hope and inspiration. You are sunshine on a sometimes dark horizon. So take your youth, your charm, your power, your energy, your intellect, and go forward and say, "Hello, world. Hello, everybody. I am here and I am ready to serve." Just remember, you do not have to overdo it, and you don't have to underdo it. You just have to go do it. Do what you can, when you can. Know that you can't do it all. Just start it so others can finish it. Quoting Dr. Seuss, I will close with a verse from his book, "Oh, the Places You'll Go." And probably nobody's ever heard of that, right? Okay. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go. I wish each of you well in your leadership in life's quest. May it be the best of the best.